Hi guys, so sorry I haven't uploaded in a few days. So I've had the flu, so I've had like a really sore throat and runny nose and that, so I couldn't record. But I'm gonna read Danger Trail Volume 2, Number 1. So I've read Volume 1 of Danger Trail Number 1. That's in my 1950s DC Comics playlist. This will be in my 1990s DC Comics playlist, as well as this if you want to see more King Faraday comic readings, if this gets some likes, I'll make when I make 5 King Faraday videos, I'll put that in their own playlist. So I'm gonna have to try to go easy with my voices here because my throat's still kind of bad. But so I'm sorry about that. But I just wanted to get a video out because I haven't uploaded in a while. And I've been going by a schedule now, so I don't want to really mess up my that I schedule that I made. But King Faraday finds death on the Danger Trail by Ween Infantino and McLaughlin. The Serpent in the Garden File, Chapter 1, On the Road Again. File 1003, Debriefing. King Faraday recording. Getting into this small Central American nation of San Madeira had been comparatively easy. All it took were an artfully forged passport, a few well-crafted prosthetic facial features, and a facility for the local language. The armaments and incidentals were waiting in my hotel room when I arrived. Getting into El Presidente's secluded Hacienda cum fortress, however, is going to be an entirely different matter. Of course, the biggest trick of all is getting back out of the country when I'm finished, preferably alive. So I just looked this up. Carmine Infantino. I think this is one of the last comics he worked on. He was an artist at DC from the 50s till the early 90s. So this is probably one of the last comics he ever worked on, which is very interesting. But Len Wein, writer, Carmine Infantino, penciler, Frank McLaughlin, inker, Clem Robbins, letterer, Linda Kachelhofer, colorist, Paul Kupperberg, editor. King Faraday, created by Robert Cagner and Carmine Infantino. I put away my night glasses and study the compound's perimeter. I see nothing that I haven't faced before. The walls are 10 feet high, a foot and a half thick, and topped with broken glass. Trying to climb them would only get one badly lacerated and very quickly dead. Of course, climbing the walls isn't the only option. The vaulting pole is made of a special tungsten aluminum alloy, and, at the touch of a stud, silently telescopes to its entire 12-foot length. I judge the distance carefully and start for the wall, picking up speed as I run. Then clear the barrier with inches to spare. The pole, and its tip sunk in the dirt outside, quivers for a moment, but never touches the wall. The alarms remain silent. I land on the soft earth of the Hacienda grounds. No dried leaves or twigs to snap beneath my feet to give warning. So far, so. Damn! Had to go and open my big mouth. The attack dogs come at me fast and low, silently as they've been trained. They look like they'd as soon rip out my throat as lift their legs on me. So like, roof, 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 roof. Yeah, I can't do any barking because, yeah, sorry, but I can feel their hot breath as I pull out a small vial, pour the contents into my gloved palm, and, holding my own breath, blow a cloud of dust right into their faces. Carrere derivative. Instant narcoleptic. They'll wake up in the morning with one hell of a headache. According to the blueprints, El Presidente's personal headquarters are in the well-lit west wing of the compound, while the east wing remains conveniently dark. The rifle is custom-made, top of the line, with the sight calibrated to its thousandths of an inch. From the east wing balcony, at a practical distance of barely 50 yards, it's going to be an embarrassingly easy shot. The kind I can make with my eyes closed. A headshot, probably. Be a whole lot cleaner that way. Just one gentle little squeeze at the trigger end. Got him. Sorry, amigo. Target practice has been just been cancelled. Uncle Sam is a good friend in Presidente Ortega, and we aren't about to have him assassinated by his political enemies the night before the big election. For what seems like an eternity, the killer struggles against the polymer filament growing tighter against his throat, until he finally shudders and grows still. I'm not happy about having to kill him, even though it's precisely what he intended for Ortega. But the body will deliver a strong message to his compadres. For a change, it looks like I'm going to get away clean. Frankly, I should have known better. Huh? Looks like our would-be assassin tripped one of the alarms. There is the one who tried to kill our beloved Presidente, muchachos! Slay the asesino now! Terrific. Can't even shoot back. I'm here to help these people, not kill them. Still, there's nothing to stop me from turning out the lights. That should help. Even the odds a little. Fan out, muchachos! Find the filthy porco! They can't shoot what they can't see, right? Yeah, right. Still, at this rate, they're bound to nail me eventually. Unless I blow this pop stand. And blow it hard. No need for subtlety now. Now's the time for action. Pure and simple. Be careful, mi amigos. He cannot have gone far. But in this jungle, mi captain, he could be anywhere. Did you see any sign of him, muchachos? I think I saw something run that way. Bueno, then we have him. In that direction, there are only steep cliffs overlooking the ocean. There is nowhere for him to run. Come out, amigo. There is no escape. Surrender to us now, and I swear that we will not hurt you. I hear rustling in the underbrush, muchachos. If anything moves, shoot it down. Sorry, I can't stay and play, amigos. Qui? But I really must fly. Shoot them, you idiota! Bring that peril down! Psh, 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 psh. I'm lucky. I catch an updraft almost immediately. Within seconds, I'm well out of range. Cease fire! You're only wasting bullets. Let the hungry sea have him. The coast of San Madeira is barely visible behind me when I release the hang glider and drop soundlessly into the deep. Unfortunately, it appears I'm not alone. That gray-black fin means I've just become the entree on somebody's menu. But the steel-black prow that suddenly rises under me means otherwise. Uncle Sam's deep-sea pickup and delivery service. Right on schedule. Mission accomplished, I take it. I wouldn't be here otherwise, Skipper. Then you better get your butt inside, Mr. Faraday. Steele wants you back in D.C. Pronto. Washington, D.C. In that interminable hour before midnight is one of the world's most beautiful cities. Strangely silent, practically deserted, with the moon and stars gleaming off the marble-lined, reflecting pool, like the jewels of a monarch's crown. Even the star-style facade of the Central Bureau of Intelligence building seems almost peaceful, which, at least, in the office of Metahuman Secretary Sarge Steele, couldn't be further from the case. What do you mean you can't find her? I don't care if the satellite's messed up. I need the status of Amanda Waller's island empire. And I want it now. So again, I'm very sorry for the bad voices. I can't really do them as loud as I do because my throat's really bad. I can't do them. But damn, that's the third intercom I ruined this month. The steel fist got its drawbacks. Accounting's not going to be happy about this. Fenwick, bring in another intercom. Yes, another one. Better watch that hair-triggered temper, Sarge. Huh? You'll give yourself an aneurysm. About time you got here, Faraday. What kept you? Now, I don't know if you guys watched my action. I think it was Action Comics number 845. I think Sarge Steele was also in that one. He's a really obscure character too. These are both really obscure characters. But what kept you? Sorry, the sub couldn't find a parking space. That alleged sense of humor is going to be the death of you yet, Faraday. Maybe so, Sarge, but I was serious about your temper. At your age, blowing your stack can give you a coronary. Unlike you, who'd rather get himself killed in the field, huh? Any day of the week. Just because I got stuck heading up CBI's, no reason for me to stagnate behind some desk. If I'm gonna go, I'm gonna go on my feet. You don't keep your lousy feet off my desk, mister. Psst. And you're not going to have to worry about when you die. Always the gracious host. What I am right now is busy. You better take a look at this. Can't I just wait for the movie? Nice-looking lady. Who is she? Name's Natalia Sokolov. She used to be a personal assistant to Professor Grigor Mendakov. And we're interested in her because... I'm disappointed, King. I thought you might recognize Mendakov's name. Come to think of it, it does sound familiar. Isn't Mendakov the nuclear physicist who disappeared a few months back? Bingo. One of several. Sounds intriguing. Tell me more. Apparently, experts on various forms of radiation have been vanishing for months now. No one can find a trace of them. Just yesterday, Sokolov turned up in Istanbul and contacted us through an intermediary. She claimed to have critical information on those responsible for the disappearances, but says her life's in serious jeopardy. That's why she's refusing to tell us anything until we get her safely to Washington. She's willing to trade her precious information for protection. And I take it this is where I come in. Where one of your agents comes in, you mean? Come on, Sarge, this one's a milk run. If you're worried about my health, when I take these gigs, you should be happy with me on an easy one. Could I stop you by saying no? Don't be silly. Try not to get killed. You're such a stern taskmaster. Consider me gone. Oh, And try not to destroy any more government property in my absence. Okay? Fenwick? I'd stock up on those if I were you. Istanbul, the largest city of the Turkish Republic, and centuries before, under the name Constantinople, the capital of the Byzantine Empire. For the right price, almost anything can be bought here. From expensive designer drugs to something as cheap as human life. Hassan, I am he, and you are King Faraday. It is good to finally meet you, Effendi. I take it you had no trouble getting here. None worth mentioning. So where's the girl? Inside that small tailoring shop. We arranged employment for her there as a temporary cover while we awaited your arrival. She'll be expecting you. And you have the tickets? Yes, passage for two aboard the Orient Express. Though why one would choose to take a train these days, when a jet would be so much quicker? Chalk it up to nostalgia. Very well, Effendi. This matter is now in your hands. Good luck. We are counting on you. Who isn't? Ding, ding. The shop is small, almost quaint. It smells of cleaning fluid and the dust of many years. Good afternoon, Effendi. The girl's photo doesn't even begin to do her justice. How may I help you? I'm here to pick up a package from my uncle. My Uncle Samuel. Oh, then it is you. Let us go into the back room. We can talk there with some small measure of privacy. After you, then, Miss Solokoff. These are my credentials. My name is King Faraday. Care to tell me who wants you dead? Yes, you would like that, wouldn't you? The more information you can manage to extract, the less need you have for me. Well, I am sorry, Mr. Paragot, but I will tell you nothing until I am safely inside the United States. Protecting you is going to be that much more difficult, miss, if I don't know who I'm protecting you from. And the name is Faraday, not... Ding, ding, ding. I thought you locked the front door. I did. Then stay behind me. Sounds like we've got an uninvited company. Miss Natalia Skokolov, you would please come with us immediately. No, please. You heard the lady, fellas. She doesn't want to go with you. I do not recall giving her a choice, Effendi. You will both please raise your hands. And do not make any stupid moves. Hey, friend. You want 'em up? You got 'em up. Very wise of you. Of course, keeping them up is another thing. The pants presser takes the wrinkles out of his sleeve. Will I take the starch out of the rest of him? A quick Kenpo kick takes out the other one. Then I make certain they'll be too tied up to follow. These two won't be out for long. I've never seen anything like that. Don't get out much, do you? Speaking of which, is there a back door to this place? Yes, over there. But what about my belongings? No time to worry about them now. We'll just have to pick up what we need along the way. But... Come on, lady. We've got a train to catch. Haida Parsa Station. 3 times weekly, the Simplon Orient Express leaves here proudly, bound for the station Gare de Lyon in Paris, and various points between. It carries people from many countries, many walks of life. Though not everyone, it appears, is here with an eye toward travel.
Any sign of them? None. This is a waste of time and manpower, I tell you. Maybe so, maybe no. But the American and the girl cannot be permitted to leave Istanbul. At least not alive. May I help you, madame?
No, thank you.
Appreciate the offer, young man. But Mama and I can handle things just fine.
Mama?
Hey, the porter bought it, didn't he?
It's a strange game we are playing. Are you going to take off your makeup, Mr. Faraday?
Not just yet. Not until I've checked the train and made certain we're safe. Not much of a wardrobe, but not bad considering.
Look, the train is moving. At last. Thank God we're safe.
Are we, Miss Salkoff? That remains to be seen. For the next half hour, we keep to our compartment, until Istanbul is only a distant memory. I'm going to have a look around. Don't open the door for anyone but me.
Do not worry, Mr. Faraday. I am not a fool.
Bonsoir, monsieur. May I direct you? No thanks, young man. Just taking my evening constitutional is all.
I walked to the end of the train without incident. No sign of any potential trouble. Then, standing on the observation platform, watching the countryside wind away at me, before me, I consider how little things have changed since I last rode the Orient Express. Someone was trying to kill me then, too.
Monsieur, if you would kindly raise your hands.
Who?
Oh, it's you.
I never suspected it would be the porter.
But you should have, monsieur. And that you did not will be the death of you. But how shall you die, eh? A simple bullet would be quick and clean. Laissez passe. But an accidental fall will cause fewer questions for...
The train lurches, suddenly rounding a curve, throwing the porter off balance, and giving me a second chance.
I'll catch on. I will kill you.
Sorry, mon ami, but you only get one shot, and you have already blown yours.
Miserable dog, for that you will suffer before you die.
He comes at me low and fast, a trained professional. But I'm a professional too. I'd sidestep his lunge, and use his own momentum to throw him back against the railing. For an eternity, he just hangs there, struggling to regain his balance. His hands clawing the air desperately, grasping for anything that might help give him purchase. But what they ultimately find is absolutely no help whatsoever.
No! Oh, no!
The back of his skull splatters against the railroad ties, like an overripe melon, and within seconds, he is lost from sight. The more things change. I step back inside, planning to head for my compartment, then stop cold in my tracks. The subtle bulge under his left arm marks him as trouble, and I have left Natalia alone. Got to get back to her quickly. And since I can't go through that gorilla without causing a scene, the only way past him is to go over his head. Damn, he's onto me, coming up the rear ladder. And it seems like he's got a friend waiting at the other end. I'm pinned. Nowhere to go. This definitely does not bode well. Need we add? To be continued. So there's this little snippet about the Danger Trail comic from the 50s at the end. So here is the DC Comics people in charge of DC Comics back in the 90s here. Jeanette Kahn, President and Editor-in-Chief. Dick Giordano, VP, Editorial Director. Paul Kupperberg, Editor. Jim Chadwick, Director, Design Services. Joe Orlando, VP, Creative Director. Paul Levitz, Executive VP and Publisher. Bruce Bristow, VP, Sales and Marketing. Patrick Caldon, VP and Controller. Terry Cunningham, Managing Editor. Chantel de Alnus, VP, Business Affairs. Lillian Laserson, VP, Legal Affairs. And Bob Rozikis, Production Director. So I don't know if any of those people are still at DC in 2024 when this is recorded. But picture it, DC Comics circa 1950. There was a lot going on in comic books in those long ago days. The first stage of the superhero was rapidly winding down. The legendary Golden Age comics had peaked, and the industry was headed into a decline that saw the rise of such genres as funny animals, westerns, romance, horror, and science fiction. At the time, DC was still publishing a fair share of superheroes, probably more than anybody else for the moment. Superman started in his own title, as well as in Action Comics, which he shared with the futuristic Tommy DeMoro, adventurer Congo Bill, backwards-speaking magician Zatara, and the rootin' tootin' modern-day Western hero, the Vigilante. And I'm going to read all those stories eventually. It's just going to take me a little bit, but I'll get to those stories. Batman was starring in a comic of the same title. Well, I've done some of the Zatara stories, but I haven't done Congo Bill, Vigilante, or Tommy DeMoro, but I did Congo Bill. There was a side story in DC Comics Presents, one of my newer videos. I read some Congo Bill, but as well as Detective Comics, which also featured the Boy Commandos, the original Robot Man, and Pow Wow Smith. I don't know who that is. Superman and Batman together held court at World's Finest. Adventure Comics had as its lead feature Superboy, who was also in his own title, but the backups included Aquaman, Green Arrow, Shining Knight, and Speedster Johnny Quick. Wonder Woman also had her own title, and Star Spangled Comics included such features as Robin Solo Adventures, Tomahawk, Captain Compass, Federal Men, and Mary Girl of 1000 Gimmicks. The Justice Society of America was wrapping up its run of a decade or so in All-Star Comics. But that was just the tip of the DC iceberg. A house ad appearing in the April 1950 titles promised you will always hit the bullseye when you buy a magazine with this trademark. DC, your guarantee of the best in comics reading. Included such diverse titles as A Date with Judy, Alan Ladd, All-American Western, Animal Antics, Bob Hope, Buzzy, Comic Cavalcade. I have read Comic Cavalcade. That's it used to be a compilation of Flash, Green Lantern, Wonder Woman stories. Dale Evans, feature films, funny folks, funny stuff. Gangbusters, Jim Wakely, leading comics. Leave It to Binky, Miss Melody Lane. No relation to Lois, but rather the star of the true-to-life adventures. That courageous charmer who vowed to take New York by storm and ran into plenty of stormy weather. Miss Beverly Hills, similar to Miss Lane only in Hollywood. Mr. District Attorney, who might, for all we know, have dated Miss Lane or Miss Hills. Mutt and Jeff, Ozzie and Harriet, Peter Porkchop's Real Screen Comics, featuring film adaptations. Romance Trail Scribbly, which is like a comic strip kind of. Sensation Comics, which had Wonder Woman. I read a few of those. And Western Comics Strange Adventures, which has Adam Strange in it. I haven't read that comic, his first appearance yet. Featuring Amazing Science Fiction Tales and Tomahawk, it's like a Western character, were added to the list during 1950. A mix of bad, bye-bye Golden Age and good experimentation, though circa 1950 DC Comics. Flash Gordon artist Dan Barry was pumping out some beautifully rendered vigilante stories. You could watch soon-to-be legendary Kurt Swan's style develop along with the Tommy Tomorrow feature. And in truly special issues, you could catch Frank Frazetta's artwork on Shining Knight. And then came Danger Trail. Even taken in context of what DC was publishing in 1950, Danger Trail was a different sort of comic book. It didn't star people with superpowers. The stories weren't funny or based on licensed characters. Its characters didn't carry 6 guns or ride horses. It was straight adventure stories starring adventurers, spies, and foreign correspondents, all involved in globe-trotting worldwide adventures, in mystery and intrigue, or mystery and suspense around the world. Take your pick from the cover copy. Whichever you go with, you can be sure there were plenty of overcoats and fedoras and pith helmets involved. Yeah, the story I read in the 1951 was like a film noir with King Faraday. It was more like film noir, kind of. Alas, DC's library, which contains bound copies of just about everything we've ever published, and yeah, a lot of us spend our free time rummaging for buried treasures, doesn't have the entire run of Danger Trail. The final 2 issues are represented, bound together for reasons that we will never be known, with Buzzy number 35 to 40. What's Danger Trail got to do with the adventures of dizzy, girl-crazy Buzzy? You'll have to ask the DC librarian of the 1950s, whoever that was. Going through the 1950 issues of Action Comics, however, I did come across the house ad for DT number 1, which is reprinted in this page. Fortunately, it appeared on the inside front cover of Action number 147 in black and white, enabling us to shoot a stat for publication. An ad for DT number 2 is found, unfortunately in color, in Action number 149, so there was no way to get a stat that would reproduce here, but the ad assured readers that danger is where you find it, and we found it for you. Vivid picture stories set against the exotic background of the 4 corners of the world. Not having a copy of the comic at hand, I'll just have to take their word for it. Danger Trail number 1 was cover dated July-August 1950 and starred as its lead feature a white-haired gentleman spy by the name of King Faraday. Oh, and if it sounds like there's a pun in that name, King for a day. Oh, I didn't realize that. It's because there is. According to Julius Schwartz, who edited Danger Trail, the name came from a popular song, King for a Day. Julie's not sure whether it was he or King Faraday writer Robert Cagner who came up with the name, but he remembered the pun well enough to break into a rendition of the song when I asked him about it. Julie's got a phenomenal memory for those things. Old songs and bad puns, that is. Fortunately for guys like me writing text pages like these, he's also got a pretty good head for facts about the comics he's edited over the past 47 or so years. Anyway, while Cagner provided scripts for King, The rest of the book, 52 big pages, the cover said, "For a Dime Yet," was written by Dave Verne and Dave Wood. The latter Dave, Julie said, was well known for his Dave Woodisms. Julie, who knows how to set up a story for a fanboy geek such as myself, knew my next question would be, "What's a Dave Woodism?" Julie said, "Dave would write a scene where a guy goes into an alley at midnight with a gun in his hand, points it at someone, and remember, this is at midnight, and say, 'Give me all your money or I'll blow the living daylights out of you.' That's a Dave Woodism." There's no doubt that the King Faraday feature was penciled by the one and only, thoroughly imitable Carmine Infantino, and inked, again to the best of anyone's knowledge and Julie's recollection, by the late great Frank Giacoia. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. King wasn't the only character in the 5 issues of Danger Trail. In fact, he only appeared in the first 4 issues, and was replaced in DT number 5 by Johnny Peril, for which Carmine and Frank also provided the art. Not that this pair were the only artists to contribute to Danger Trail. Alex Toth had stories in all 5 issues, and a story in one of the 2 issues I have access to looks suspiciously like the work of John Prentice, but it's hard to say. Danger Trail was done purposely to read like a pulp magazine, Julia Schwartz said. That's why there are so many heavily written captions. The narrative was supposed to tell the story, which is why we went after the best writers we could get. Expectations were high for Danger Trail, Julie recalls. So high, in fact, that he remembers a house ad being prepared for a companion comic to be called Mystery Trail, which was to run on an alternating schedule with the bi-monthly Danger Trail. Alas, DT's 5 issues were about how long it took back then to learn how a comic was selling on the newsstands, and in the candy stores, drugstores, etc., where comics were sold in those days. Obviously, the sales of Danger Trail were not up to DC's expectations, and not only did Mystery Trail never happen as a result, but Danger Trail itself was cancelled. But despite its short run, Danger Trail managed to fall into the category of collector cult classic by the mid-1960s. I recall myself and fellow collectors vying for the relatively few copies that would show up for sale at comics conventions. A lot of the 1960s enthusiasm for DT was generated, I believe, by the reprinting of Showcase number 50 and number 51, May, June, and July, August of 1964, of the 4 King Faraday stories, complete with new covers and 4 pages of introductory material, in number 50 by Infantino and Murphy Anderson. That, and of course, the comics collector's never-ending search for that obscure and artistically cool rarity. And there's like a cover for Ice. Okay, so that's the reprint. Showcase Presents. King Faraday kind of worked his way into DC continuity after that, usually at the hands of writers and editors who were, a few years earlier, the same fans seeking out issues of Danger Trail, and he remains an integral part of the DC espionage community to this very day, especially now with his return to active, zooming action, breathtaking mystery, chilling intrigue, two-fisted adventure, duty right here in the pages of the all-new Danger Trail. And it only took him 43 years to get back to it. I don't think this new Volume 2, that this never got many issues. I'm not sure. I think it was like 4 or 5. It was like kind of like a mini series. I don't know. But so the comics, there's the next issues describes the next issue box. King Faraday and his beautiful Russian charge are running along the Danger Trail, as they flee the killing forces of the most dangerous man alive, Cobra. Danger Trail number 3 is written by Len Wein and is art by Carmine Infantino and Frank McLaughlin, and a cover by Paul Gulassi. And also next month, from my own little editorial corner of the world, Peter Cannon Thunderbolt number 9. The Hooded One is willing to destroy as much of London as it takes to kill Peter Cannon. Thunderbolt, but Justice League Europe is on hand to save the day. So that was a spin-off of Justice League International, that comic. Can membership for T-Bolt be far behind? Thunderbolt number 9 is by writer-penciler Mike Collins and inker Osei Marzin Jr. So I think Thunderbolt was a Charlton Comics character. I read most of the other Charlton comics like Captain Atom and that. I don't think I never read Thunderbolt, but if you guys want me to read that, just let me know down in the comments. Stanley and his monster number 4. I don't know anything about that character. The powers that be of hell have taken the monster, and now young Stanley's volunteered to go down there to help bring his big purple buddy home. What's hell to a 7-year-old? Writer, penciler, cover penciler, Phil Foglio, inker Chuck Fiala, and cover inker Dick Giordano know. You can know too, but it's going to cost you $1.50 to find out. And so that's all by Paul Kupperberg, tromping along some dangerous trails of my own. And there's the old DC, that's the old DC logo. I think they're using this one now. This is, they repurposed and using it in 2024. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you could like, comment, and subscribe, that'd be appreciated. Sorry about, again, for my bad voices I'm doing. I'm still sick a little bit. If you guys want me to do a certain comic, just let me know down in the comments, and I'll tell you the date I can do the comic. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys later.